Welcome back to another episode of Unapologetically Strong. Woo, it's been a minute. It's been a whole week. So today we got actually a special guest that's going to come on with me today. I really wanted to talk to this individual because of something that came up recently. Are you there? You there with me, DJ Uni?
I am. Hello,
Hello.
audience out there.
How you feel?
I feel highly blessed and favored. For those of you out there that do not know this voice, this is DJ Black Unicorn, aka Uni, your beloved unicorn of the land. Hello.
If you can only see her face while she do that. But what I wanted to get you on today, Uni is one of the DJs here, and we go back and forth about just some of the stuff that our generations go through, and our generation, the various generations. So as you know, I'm a little older than you, Uni. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Just a tad.
Just a tad bit. So, but before we jump into our topic, let's keep it in the same way that we do everything else around here. So we didn't have the intro, so we did that. We didn't have the everything else. So what I want to do is just get into this strength part of you. Because what I've noticed is you are an extremely, along with energetic person, you got this air and aura of strength about you. And so anyone that I have on the show, I always want to ask them just that basic question is, where do you find your strength?
God.
Okay, we're not about to do like the one
What?
word answers.
No, for real. I know a lot of people may see me out and about, or may hear me often and not realize how spiritual I am. But I mean that when I say that. I do gather all my strength from the universe, from the God, from the Almighty. Like, I really do. I pride myself in that grounding.
Okay, and so because given you've been through. Let's see. You went to the military.
Yeah.
And
are we getting intimate here?
We have to. Oh. And going to the military and being in the military as a black woman. So just in case you didn't know, Uni is black.
Yes. I'm blinkly black, baby.
Right.
Baby.
I don't know about that. But at any case, Uni is black. And in my family, I've had individuals that have gone to the military, but I have to be real. I know women in my family have gone to the military. So when you decided to go to the military, which branch was it again?
Army.
Yeah, I was going to say it, but I was going to let you say it.
Cool.
Which, when you're looking at the concept of military, the concept of fighting, what someone has always told me after, in the 80s, after the 80s or around the 70s, the military was no place for a black person. And here we are,
I mean, was it beforehand?
It wasn't, but it got much worse. It got much worse, I guess. But this is something that I was told. But I did actually, in all honesty, I was supposed to go to the Navy.
Oh, okay.
My father went to the Navy. I took the test. It was going to be the Navy for a while, and then I was going to pop over to the Air Force and figure out whatever from there. But it didn't happen. My father was a Navy man. His brothers were Navy men and stuff like that. So, but
why didn't it happen?
It didn't happen. Good pivot. I see you. And you brought on.
I'm just curious.
So what happened was after graduation, I worked at this factory. I didn't know a rubber factory. I didn't know where I wanted to go to college or whatever have you. I didn't know. So we were working at this factory, and I think I told this story over a couple weeks ago. Working at this factory, and just so happened this day, my cousin got fired or quit or whatever have you, and it was 3 of us that worked there. It was me and my 2 other male cousins, and one of my male cousins, in order to get us home, went and stole a car. And so he stole a car. Now, mind you, this is roughly maybe a week or 2 after I was supposed to, go through. I did the oath and all that other good stuff. And he stole a car, and we got caught. Now, we were in Newberry, and so we got caught.
I like how he said he stole the car, and we got caught.
That's how he stole it, and we was in it, and so we got caught. It wasn't that he got caught; we both got caught. So I got arrested, and once they heard that I got arrested, then, they were like, we're going to have to pull your papers. And so they pulled my papers, and I never went. So that's the story.
What made you not try again? Because after a certain amount of time, can't you reapply?
Yeah. So what I did was I think my second or third year into college is where it got expunged. So it was still on my record. And so I had the good fortune of having people smarter than me, which I actually, love the fact of, I allow myself to be mentored by people that are much smarter than me. And, we got a lawyer and it got expunged. And so after that, I was already in college. I chose not to move forward, although I wish I would have. So if I had, years later looking back, one, I would have probably went in as an officer, gotten my, graduate degree and all that other stuff, went in as an officer, because I'm real big on behavioralism. I'm real big on profiling. So I probably, hopefully, if there was a different, that serendipity, if it was a different track, I probably would have, or not probably, I would have been some type of behavioralist for one of the branches of military. So interrogator or profiler, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I had a therapist when I was in the service.
Okay. So
towards the end.
Well, how did you throw that part in?
Because we talk about,
Right, but wait.
profiling and therapy.
That was a heck of a transition. But I wouldn't have been a military therapist. I didn't want to do that.
Why not?
I wanted to be a behavioralist.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do was profile people.
Okay. Which is different. You just clarified. Thank you.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do was have certain instances of certain behavioralistic crimes or tendencies, and be able to put together profiler. Profile and stuff like that.
Yeah, this was probably done by a single 30-year-old white man.
I probably wouldn't have used that voice.
But yeah, I get it. I got you.
I probably wouldn't have used that voice. But yeah, it's more about paying attention, because that's what I've always done, is pay attention to people, pay attention to energy. And so I think there's a difference between moving towards a profession that you want to do because you think it's cool, and moving towards that same profession because there's a certain aspect of you that you've been able to hone. So going into it as a profiler or as a behavioralist is something that is naturally, I feel, I could be wrong, is naturally a part of my personhood, my personality. And so by doing it in that manner, going into profiling or something like that, I think it would have fit me exactly the way that I believe that therapy fit me in this way. So,
okay.
So why did you pick the Army?
Well, my dad was in the Air Force. My grandpa was in the Air Force. Everyone before me was in the Air Force. And it's not that I thought the Air Force was sissified or anything of that nature. I just wanted more of a challenge. I feel like Air Force was more of the office part of the military. And I was just I kind of want to be in the field without being super hood, kicking doors down, which to me would have been the Marines. So I was let me just do the Army somewhere in between. I might kick a door in, but for the most part I'm chilling,
Can you still shoot?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you go to the range?
Yeah, I have to. The last time
to keep your
it's an outlet for me.
Yeah,
it's definitely an outlet for me. It's that kickback especially if you got an M4 on your shoulder. Yeah, that kickback is nothing like it. I swear.
Why did you make that face?
Because I love it.
Oh my God.
I do.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta think my job in the military was a 91 Fox small artillery repair.
Oh, okay.
Anything from an M9 to a 777 Hauser.
You take it together blindfolded?
Yeah.
Can you for real?
Yeah, for real.
Oh, okay.
I can do that.
So in other words, you're not the one.
M9 and an M4 and an M16. But when you come to the Mach 19s and the 50 cal and all of that, well, I probably could still do the 50 cal, especially with the long barrel.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Well, for those people out there that knows weaponry, they know.
Okay.
If not, Google it. You'll see the weapons and you'll fall in love and you'll want to go to the range too.
No, I've gone. So my dad is an ex-cop. So that's the other thing. I would have also went into police. But I also would have went in as a profiler.
Right.
So, but in any case, I've gone with him and I enjoy it. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she doesn't like the sound.
No.
No,
Is it? Does she wear the ear
she
pro?
wear everything.
And it's just too much for her. Does she got sensitive
I think
ears?
she can feel it now. I think she can feel it also.
You can, though. You can feel the vibrations, in, especially that kickback if you have like an M4 or...
definitely. We had a...
Huh? Oh, a little BB?
Yeah, not a BB. It's not a
M9,
BB.
little 9.
I don't know, whatever my dad had. So whatever police issue type thing.
Okay, so it probably was a 9.
Yeah, it was cool. But she didn't like it.
Okay.
So,
I mean, each his own, you know.
What? Oh, yeah.
To each his own.
So when you go to pull this strength, and you were in a male-dominated industry.
Oh no, yeah, I was, especially basic training. Like I had my Bible because that was the only book I was allowed to have, and I would read that every night. Like that definitely got me through basic training. Like praying with my mom on Sundays when we were allowed to have our phone for 20 minutes. Like, like I'm serious. Like when I say like God really is my foundation, like I mean that. Like I love God, and I love that God loved me, and I am highly favored and blessed because a lot of people, not to say that they aren't blessed, they're just blessed in different ways.
Right.
That's it.
And how long did you stay in the military?
3.5 years.
So you just did one.
Yeah, you want to know the real tea? The real tea?
I don't think I had that type of show, but I'll go with it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you are supposed to be leading today. Sorry.
No, hey, I also know how to dance.
Oh, okay.
Come on, go for it.
So I popped hot for marijuana.
Okay.
And I got kicked out right before I actually was supposed to PCS to Germany.
Get out of here.
Yeah, but that was God. That was God working. And at the time, I didn't realize it. I just, I took it like I messed up. I was really, really hard on myself. I got really depressed. Like I stopped caring about life. It was a transition period for me, and I definitely did disconnect from everything, including my foundation, which is God. But I found my way back.
Okay.
And I'm grateful for that time. I'm grateful for that experience. It was a reason for that season, and that season needed to be over for me.
Okay.
And for numerous reasons. And I know that now, but going through it at the time.
But what you said was you had a therapist at the end. So obviously what my therapist had on, I hear depression. Mm-hmm. But also a lot of times when we talk about depression, especially in the military sense, we don't actually talk about which type. Which is, so there's two types, chronic and situational, right? So chronic depression this is something that within your neurotransmitters, that is just the way that your DNA is made up. So that's one. And then situational has to do with in a moment. So do you believe what you were struggling with was not simply, but when it comes to what defining it, was it situational? Was it you being in the military?
See, that's the thing. I could say it was situation. I've been in therapy since I was 7. So let me clarify some things. I've been in therapy since I was 7, on and off.
Right.
So I think in the beginning it was situational. And as life kept lifing, it became chronic.
Okay. And that does happen. So when we look at you from the aspect of being in the military, we call it precipitating event or precipitating factor, which is the thing that starts something, right? What was the thing that, in your opinion, started this process of struggle within the military?
Rape.
Okay. Leave it at that?
You want me to tell you the whole story, or like?
It depends on however way you feel comfortable. This is on the air, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, what are we doing here?
We're gonna transition off of this.
I mean, I asked you if this was gonna be a therapy session.
It is definitely not gonna be a therapy session. I'm getting hot. I'm starting to sweat. I saw the body movement. You know, I pay attention to everything. I see the body movements, and I see. So we're gonna turn on the AC. So we're about to take an actual break, and I don't want you to discuss rape. So we're not gonna do that because we don't want to do the triggers, and I'm off the clock.
You triggered me already.
Right. Oh, I'm talking about others. So you're different, but I'm talking about people on that's listening. I don't want to do that. But what I do want to do is, one of the things that has been most concerning is that concept of rape, or just overall with military. And so I think that is the scariest thing when I'm thinking about anyone that I care about, as male or female, identified as male or female.
Because it happens to men. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
They just don't talk about it.
They just don't talk about it. So I appreciate you sharing your story, and we do, and it happened at the best time because we do have a break. So we're going to take a quick break, and just so that you know, Uni is the one that actually tells me what I should and should not be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and play this red one, and we're going to go ahead and take a break.
All right.
All right.
Don't forget your break music.
I do that on the way back in.
Okay.
I do it on the way back in.
Okay, do you, boo?
She's telling me what to do. But this is Unapologetically Strong on WOVU 95.9 FM. Welcome back to Unapologetically Strong. I have the gorgeous and lovely Uni in here with me today. So, although we were talking about something on the other side, that's actually not, our topic for the show today. But I did want Uni to have her moment to, to close it out so that we can transition.
So yeah, I won't go into the details of the incident itself that triggered me to start smoking, but I will say I got kicked out because I didn't advocate for myself. I didn't tell anybody. Instead of me even talking to the therapist that I had at the time, I didn't tell anybody. And I kept it to myself when I tried to deal, and smoking was like my outlet for that instead of me talking or telling or expressing any of what transpired. And I just want people to know how important it is to advocate for yourself. No matter what the situation is, tell someone. Do not try to keep it in, because it will eat you alive. I know from firsthand, like, it will eat you alive, and it's not something that you did. I know a lot of shame is attached to it, because you go through all these scenarios in your head, like, how did this happen? Why did I allow it to happen? And talking to someone will make you realize it's not your fault. Talking to someone will make you realize it was a projection put upon you. It wasn't something you asked for. It wasn't something you was looking for. It wasn't something you caused on yourself. But you have all these thoughts when you experience something like that. And I just want them to know, like, just talk to somebody. Be better than me. Deal with it better than I did.
So I know that we're going to transition. So I'm going to transition with this. There's no better. It just is. So it's not about being better than someone. It's just actually learning from someone's actual experience. So whoever's, for everybody's listening, just remember to speak up. It's not about protection, and it's not about shame, because the more that an individual stays quiet, the more that it keeps going on. So the more that we're loud about it and effervescent about it and telling about it and being open about it, then we're good. All right? All right. Sure. So what I want to do is transition to this generational talk that we have. So like I said, Uni is a bit younger than me, but something very interesting happened. And I don't know if you paid attention to this. So last week, a couple lawmakers in the state of Ohio stated that they wanted to pay children to go to school. So K through 12, right? They would like to actually pay it in three ways. Either they're going to do a biweekly payment, a monthly payment, or a lump sum when they're done. So the very first thing that I thought about when this came out a couple weeks ago. So hold on, let me look at. So it came out a couple weeks ago, and this is down at the State House. They literally, because of the way that the educational system is in the state of Ohio, they want to actually pay kids to come to school, and those with a certain level of attendance, right? Percentage of attendance, they want to provide them with money. So K through 9, or K all the way up through 8, they want to give them $500. And then there's a different sum after that. Now, this is the problem that I have. Generationally, right? Generationally, I have an issue with this because, in my opinion, school is what you're supposed to do. Right. You're not supposed to get paid for it. But this is the interesting part that popped into my head, was this concept that there are we have a generational divide, right? And then there are individuals who are a part of the old head that during my time, and we're going to talk about on the other side of the break, would be looked at kind of off. So in other words, Tupac came out with a song called Brenda's Got a Baby, right? If we did the math and everything continued on the exact same way, Brenda right now would be a grandmother, and her grandchild would be in the 2nd grade. Now you have a child as well. Is that about right?
Yes.
So before we jump into that part, this is what I want to know. I'm considered an old head. The concept of paying someone to go to school has to come from somewhere. In my opinion, it comes from the fact of individuals who decided to let dodgeball out of schools and wanted to label everything as a trigger warning. In my opinion, are the individuals that would like to pay kids to go to school. Now, I can be viewed as being old. What's your thoughts on it?
In my opinion, they're just building more slaves.
What do you mean?
I mean, let's look at the original concept of what school was supposed to be. They just wanted to build more robots. So,
okay. So we're talking about industrialization. So if we're looking at it from that standpoint, in my opinion, school is only for 2 reasons. First reason is to socialize. Second reason is to assess whether or not you can retain and disseminate information. What you got?
Yes and no.
Yes
it's like I partially agree because I feel like it has changed since the original construct of schooling was established, and they're trying to update these things, but at the end of the day, it's still the same juice, and we still handing the same juice out. So it's just kind of like, are we going to actually change the core concepts of schooling for today?
Yeah. From your opinion?
See, that's the thing. I would have to go back for my age group from when I was younger.
That's what I want you to speak from.
Yeah, because we have an intern up front, and she has all kind of different classes.
Yeah.
Which I admire because I'm like, hey, they didn't have financial classes when I was growing up.
Oh, depends on your school because they did when I did. I took accounting. I graduated in 1994. Yes.
What high school you go to?
I went to Bedford. We had accounting. We had typing, we had debate. Now, mind you, it's a suburban school, but I don't know. But yeah,
Bedford, it was suburban back then?
Right, because if you look at Bedford now, it doesn't look like. We had a large amount of white people in our neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
We had a large amount of white people in our school at that time. So if your intern attends she attends a parochial school? Okay. So a parochial or a pay school or a Catholic school was always different than an actual public school. With that said, our public school had accounting. I learned my very first concept of ledgers and how to do money in the 10th and 11th grade.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
What'd you have?
We had accounting, but it was just numbers. It wasn't like actual accounting, like teaching us how to budget accounting and all of those things. It was just more so, does the numbers make sense? And that was it.
So we had the full ledger. Like back in the day, I remember we used to have to go down to the bookstore and get this full packet. And the packet had a ledger, had balance sheets, had profit and loss. It had everything that we needed to actually run a business. So it had everything, accounting, but it had absolutely everything. And so you have this look on your face. Can you explain the look that you have?
I'm just shocked that they was offering that in the public school system back in your day.
Yeah.
And I mean, mind you, my experience is
back
a little
in my
different.
Day. All right, I'm sorry.
Because I graduated Richmond Heights 07.
Which used to be white.
Right.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in your day.
Yeah.
My day, it was in that transition period where
50-50.
Yeah, it was very much mixed.
Yes.
But 05, 6, 7 was when they were dealing with their teacher strikes.
Yep.
A lot.
I remember.
So a lot of things I was supposed to get or was supposed to be in my curriculum may have skipped on over. We may have skipped over just to get the kids through. But yeah, I didn't have any of that. That's where that face came from.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
Yeah, we had
Where
it.
was that for me?
We used to go up against other schools.
Like in your debate
Not
team?
just, debate. So also, my very first instances of programming was in high school. So we had this, now mind you, once again, this is 94. I had the opportunity of learning, Boolean or C++, and then as well as binary language. Like I used to really be able to read binary language, and I got that from the school that I was a part of. So when I'm hearing individuals are paying people to go to school, I remember that it was not an option. And so what I'm hearing is, from your standpoint, it's still absurd, and it's also still creating or continuing that gap. Because your gap and my gap is not about years. And your gap with your intern is not about years either. It's actually about the information and how the information was provided. What are you thinking right now?
I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm wondering, since we had all that stuff going on, if I did miss out on curriculum that was supposed to be in our curriculum, but because of the strikes, we weren't afforded the ability to learn those things. And it's just kind of like, dang, what happened?
Do you think it was there and you just missed it? That's what you're literally saying.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know, because at the time I was a teenager. I don't know what my curriculum is supposed to be. I just know that I have this substitute teacher in front of me just telling me to write a report about it.
So you graduated in what?
07.
07. So I graduated in 94. So if we're looking at from that standpoint alone, what's that, 13 years? Looking at it from a 13-year standpoint, I will say within that time frame, I did begin to see a lot of change. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. What I began to see was the individuals who were parents at that time, who may have been younger parents at the time. They had less abilities to actually advocate for what their child needed. That was one. Secondly, around that time, most children were being, at least from those that I knew, were being raised by their grandparent, who was already tired. So in other words, the individuals that had the baby, because I remember a young lady in and this is where the Brenda's Got a Baby came up. She was 13 and she had a baby. And I remember that was something that was unusual. But gradually, as time went on, we began to see more of that, to where at the age of 26, that individual who had a baby at 13, at the age of 26, they could be a grandmother. They could be, because if in most cases, the things that we do as human beings are just cyclical. So if you have a child at 13 and you're raising that child, you don't have the faculties. And the hope is that you have someone in your village that can guide. But what I noticed back then is that you didn't have people being honest or stepping up and saying, we need to do this. We just didn't. So when I hear what you're talking about, what I hear more than, or what I assume, is that it was easy for those of high prominent black schools or high prominent schools that were marginalized and definitely from a socioeconomic status as well as a racial status to just be like, if nobody is advocating for it, then what's the point of actually doing it?
Yeah. And then on top of that, like you mentioned, parents have things to do. A lot of them was being raised. A lot of my friends was being raised by their grandparents.
Yeah.
And it's like that cycle continues, but they're tired. Like you said, like they are tired. They raised babies. They thought they were done. Psych, you're not.
Yeah.
Now you got your grandchild, and you just want them to act right and do their work. You don't want them to cause you any trouble, but you're also not going to PTA meetings. You're not going to board meetings. You're not figuring out what's going on with your school, what programs is being offered. You're like, did you do your work?
That's it.
What is your grades?
That's it.
Okay, get out my face.
That's it. So we're going to go to a quick break, and I'm going to play another red one. and play another red one.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So this is Unapologetically Strong on WOVU 95.9 FM. Welcome back. We have DJ Uni. You over there?
Yeah.
Yep. So Unapologetically Strong, I'm your host, Eric King. So we were on the other side, we were talking about this concept of paying kids to go to school. And so, like I said, I really wanted to have this generational discussion. And it'd be interesting to hear what your intern would say, because she's still in high school, about this concept. Now, this hasn't gone into effect right now, but one of the things that popped into my head was, if we didn't like entitlement, if people didn't like entitlement programs before, how is this anything different?
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. I'm sorry. What was the reasoning behind this?
I just
again?
told to improve the graduation rate through attendance. When I say I can't make this up, I can't make this up.
Like, it just sounds so foreign to me. It's hard for me to even like fathom and comprehend. Like, so to improve the graduation and the attendance rate.
All right. So if you do a search, if you Google for Ohio lawmakers consider paying kids to go to school and graduate, this was posted on January 19th, 2024. Right, 2024, and it was updated January 20th, 2024. So this is not something that was just,
They're really considering this.
This is for real. This is Columbus.
This is funny.
This is real.
Like, what?
So the old adage, or the old thing that used to be interesting, was reparations. So I had a professor that used to be down at the college, right, CSU, and he wrote a book. One of his things was reparations. He wrote a book on reparations, or he edited a book on reparations. And if you pull up anything that has to do with reparations, the key thing is we didn't have slaves, so we should not have to pay for what the past have. What has happened in the past. I'm not sure if have you heard that argument? For one, you what is the
Go ahead.
So the argument is, because we were not the ones that had slaves, we're not going to give reparations. But in my opinion, I'm just going to be honest, this is their soft way in the state of Ohio of providing reparations. I just truly believe that is stupid, because if we're supposed to be this nation of whatever exceptionalism, why do we have to pay people to go to school?
Yeah.
Wrap your head around it. Like, you be them.
Yeah, this is wow. Like, I can't. And I can't rap. I can't. I just can't. I just can't. Like, what are you talking about? I am young, but I have an old mind.
Put on your parent hat.
Weird.
Put on your parent hat.
Okay.
Right now, your daughter, right?
I'm a mama.
Right. What grade is she in?
Pre-K.
Pre-K. Which means that next year, if this went into effect, you would be eligible to receive $500 if your child continues to go to school at a high rate, right? What do you think? Is that something that you would want?
No, I wouldn't care for it. I mean, if I get it, cool, but my daughter going to be there regardless. So what are we saying?
Why is your daughter going to be there regardless?
Because if she's in school, she is there to learn. She is there to grow. She is there to gain skills. She is there for a reason. So why does she need to get paid to be there? I don't understand that. Okay. You are there to gain skills, not to be paid for these skills. But I get it. Like this is like a baby apprenticeship. For what? But this is your time in life to start learning what life is and what you should have and know and all these things. So I don't understand why we are paying kids to learn what they should be learning.
It's not about learning, though. It's about attending. So what's weird is that you're actually you're talking about the dissemination of information.
Yes.
This has absolutely nothing to do about the dissemination of information.
And
this has everything to do about getting butts in the seats.
And that's the thing that's bothersome for me.
Yeah.
About it, because you're not even thinking about what programming, what skill sets are we teaching? Like, what are we adding?
Yeah, that's
to the
you're having a different
system?
Argument. You're having a different argument.
Because
your
my
argument
mind can't fathom paying someone to just be there. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, but it happens already though.
That is wild.
This concept of paying someone to just simply show up, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my old hat on. Is this is that participation trophy? This is the culmination of simply showing up on a sports team and paying your money to be on that sports team.
Yeah, I'm not that mom.
But I'm just saying,
I'm not that mom. So, you're not getting ice cream after you lose your soccer.
Well, here, let me read this.
Sorry.
Let me read this. So one of the let me read this part. It says the attendance pilot program would reward kindergartens and ninth grade students in selected districts $500 if they miss less than 10% of the school year, paid bi-weekly, quarterly, or as a lump sum at the end of the year.
So why?
Just to show up.
But why?
This
why
not about
are they
passage.
so pressed about the attendance rate?
Because let's go to it. Monies are allocated to schools with certain amount of attendance rates. Did you know this? So
they're like, look.
Did you know this?
Yeah, I knew
Okay,
this.
Charter schools as well. The amount of butts that show up in the seats is not about them learning. That's a different argument.
And see, that's the thing. As a parent, I'm concerned about her learning.
Okay.
Because she's going to be there regardless.
I get you.
To learn.
But that's a different argument.
And that's why my mind goes straight there, because it's like, what?
All right, let's go to step 2. The assumption is if the individual is in class, then they're going to learn. I'm not sure if you've heard these commercials.
But that's not.
The commercials say a student that attends school and have, nearly or high levels of attendance does better in school.
I was at school every day and got straight Fs one semester. I'm serious. You think I'm joking? Let me tell you something about myself.
I don't think I'm joking. No, I don't think you're joking. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
I mainly wanted to join the service because I knew I was not ready for college. My senior year was the only year in my high school educational career that I took serious.
Okay.
I graduated with a GPA of like 1.9. Something I should not even have graduated with.
I'm with you. And but we're having two different arguments.
I know, but this is just wild.
This is a monetary gain to parents for having their child show up for school.
But my point is saying that they can show up and not do nothing.
I understand that. So this is the other part. And I'm going to go back to 2 points. One, I truly believe that individuals that have children at a very early age and that don't have the village around them often do a disservice to other individuals as they grow up, because being a parent is difficult. Knowing what to do with your child is difficult. The key part is the better you have individuals around you to raise your child, the better you do as a parent and the better your child does.
Right.
When we got to the point to where we just simply accepted certain things and we allowed certain things just to go, and this is, once again, I'm putting on my old hat, I think we lost a lot of what you're actually talking about. Meaning, so let me be a little bit more specific and less cryptic. When we got to the point to where it wasn't shameful for an individual to cause harm to the identity of the family, right? And we pretty much said nothing about it, I think that was the gateway drug of a lot of stuff just simply happening. Because there's a concept of family to where your family, you need to have a level of pride. Now, that doesn't mean that you carry the family secrets. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's that the idea that we're all in this together. And if you go out and do this, then you're putting weight on us. So you're going out and doing this, and that's where grandparents are actually raising the child. Because they want the child to do well, and they want their child to be a better mother. So if I look at it from that standpoint, I'm going off on my own little tangent on this. But if we look at that standpoint, the concept of shame within families is no longer there. So you're saying I don't understand about paying kids to show up for school. I'm saying the individuals that would actually advocate or, for learning in school, they were busy. They didn't show up to the school board meetings. They didn't write the letters.
Right.
They didn't come up to the schools. They began to lock the schools and stop letting parents just walk in and beat the heck out of their kids when they didn't act it up and then go back to work.
I got stories.
But no, I'm just saying.
I got straight F's, baby.
So,
I got stories.
I understand. So I get it.
Uh-huh.
So you and I, once again, we are actually having a generational thing. My standpoint is, I think individuals that are allowing this to happen are just back-ending reparations. So that's one. Secondly, the individuals that are going to accept for this to happen are not going to ask the question that you asked. So if they're just simply showing up, what does it look like for these individuals to get information?
And that's the next question that I have. Like, what does it look like when my kid shows up for these special paid programs?
Yeah.
Like, what extra stuff are they getting besides money? It's regular school. So it's like, I just can't fathom it. This is what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. I just don't.
The key part is, so it says, if I go back to what we were, to the article, it says selected school districts. Which school district do you think they're going to select? What do you think?
See,
come on, Cleveland Public.
My thing is, I would assume they would already pick the school systems with high attendance already.
So, in your opinion, they would where
the money already
is. They would punt it.
Yes,
they would
because
punt
at the end of the day, look.
So they would give further. Okay, go ahead.
I'm getting this amount of money for all of our students coming. So I'm going to give you a bit of this money just to ensure that you keep coming.
Okay.
Yeah, they're breaking off a piece. But
I truly don't believe, when I read this and I heard about this, and the first thing I thought about is, like I said, this is because we no longer push individuals to do hard things.
Yeah, we don't, that's weak.
That was one. The second thing I thought of is that this is a back-end reparations, because when I read districts, I knew exactly the school districts.
Did they give an example for the districts? Because at the end of the day, like, okay, so there's two ways it could go.
Yeah.
They could give it to the ones who already have high attendance so they can get more money from the state and federal dollars, so on and so forth. Or they can go to the low attendance and not have to pay as much out to these families.
I get it. So what I'm looking, a sponsor of the pilot program called Chronic Absenteeism, the number one threat facing K through 12 is absenteeism. So they're not going to go to the schools, in my opinion, that have the money, because those individuals, to be perfectly honest, they can, I'm assuming, transition those kids to other schools and or districts or whatever. But I didn't think that they were going to punt like you. I literally thought, like, okay.
See, that's the thing with politics. It's always so tricky. And again, you got more students coming, you probably get more money. So it varies. But I could definitely see your stance on the, quote, reparations, the back end reparations of just, you know what, yeah, we messed up. We know, you're still facing a lot of generational traumas and issues. Yeah. Let's give you a little bit of money to help with that, and you make sure your kid gets here so we can change that trajectory for your family.
So go to the next level. If that's the case, they found this money from somewhere, but we can't raise the amount of pay that we give teachers. That part. In the state of Ohio, it has been, I guess, litigated, quite frequently, that the way that they fund schools is unconstitutional to the state of Ohio. How is this any different? How, if you are funding the schools improperly, so in other words, now I'm switching to what you're talking about, right? So if we have this money to give these individuals biweekly, monthly, or lump sum for simply showing up, why don't we have this same money to redo how we actually fund schools. So that's one. Secondly, pay the teachers and the administration this same money. Why are we giving it in a sense as a participation trophy? And we know what happens to participation. You didn't earn nothing.
Nope.
So
it gives them a sense of entitlement because they've been given all these trophies and handouts basically all their lives, and then you end up raising psychopaths, and the world is crazy.
Wait a minute now.
I'm just saying, how many trophy kids that you know or that you've seen or patients or whatever that has serious issues because they got their way their entire lives?
Ton of them. But I also believe, I go back to this concept of being tired. Brenda's a grandmother.
Yeah.
And Brenda, if you know the cycle as it been going on, Brenda's child, right, had a child. And so, which means if that child had a child at 13, that means what grade is 13?
What is that?
Do you know?
Sixth, seventh?
Around that, 7th, 8th, right?
7th, 8th.
So if that's the case, then Brenda ain't about to, Brenda's child is not about to go out and earn a living. They're just not. Brenda can't stay up all night feeding that child, or Brenda's child, right? Let's call Brenda's child Candy. No, not Candy. Right? What do we want to call her?
We just call her the child.
The
That's
child.
Okay.
So she's not going to actually be able to do the mothering that is actually provided. Now, since I am a man and male, and where's the daddy? I don't know.
MIA.
And I'm not saying that's the case. But let's be real. The person that is going to take care of that child is Brenda, the grandmother. And so we're back at this concept of I want to make my life as easy as possible. So I'm not going to go. I can't go to the PTA meetings. I can't go to the city board or the superintendent meetings. I can't do any of that. So because I can't do that, and what happens when an individual doesn't show up? Decisions are made for them.
Yeah.
So that hopefully, that connects to the participation. Grandma just drops you off. They're not, and I'm not saying that this is bad. I'm just saying it is what it is. This is it. And now we're at the point of paying literally $500 for simply showing up to school. Not for learning, not for scholarships. Not for A's, not for even a program that started, in 1994 to where every A was $500 or $1 towards a scholarship.
That was a thing back in '94.
Yeah. Yeah, you got if you were in the Cleveland Public School. My cousin graduated from Kennedy. He graduated 2 years before.
So this is something that's been done before, and they trying to run it back.
But this is different, and I believe it's still going on. This is different. This is simply showing up. He actually earned the grades. He actually had it. And this is when they actually failed you to where if you were in 9th grade and you didn't do 9th grade work and you didn't make the grades, they actually failed you back then. Now they don't do that. They move you forward, and then you get to the 12th grade and be like, oh, you can take night classes to get your degree. So yeah, this is actually a thing.
I just I don't know. I guess I'm just shocked and almost appalled because it's like these are things you're supposed to be doing, and those dollars could go towards programming that address the reasons of why you're having chronic absences. Instead, you're just wanting to pay people to make sure their kids there, and then it's just so many different scenarios that these instances can go wrong. Because who's to say that these parents or foster parents are going to do right by those dollars? Which
we know with, child support, with the argument with child support.
Foster assistance. All these things that are abused, all these financial abuse. Excuse me. Let me slow down.
Yeah,
this is upsetting to me.
Slow down. Slow down.
All these instances where the finances for the children are abused by the adults in their lives. How do we know? Like, most of these parents aren't just gonna, or foster parents aren't just going to throw their kids into this program or these schools and misuse the funds.
The other part about that, by the select districts, I'm not sure if you know this, that if a school district is failing or deemed failing, they can get a voucher to go anywhere.
The kid can?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't dislike that one.
Do you think this it's a back end way of keeping people within that district? They'll say in order to get that money, the individual has to go to a school within the district. So what that does?
They have to stay at that district that is failing.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought you were saying like if the school is failing, they'll get a voucher to go to a different school if they so choose.
Yes, that's how it is. But what I'm saying with this program, they write it in to where they have to go to a actual school or attend, or this is for an actual school that is in the district, meaning the money can't go if you go to a different school. If you're in a failing school and you pick a non-failing school, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to.
All right.
Look,
All right.
wait. One quote.
Go ahead before we close out.
From Rockefeller, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of minds to think.
Which means?
What do you think? I'll leave that
I know what it means.
For interpretation for our listening audience.
I
remember that quote I said earlier when you asked me about the school system and what it makes and builds out of people.
I get it. And you know what? I'm with you, and I'm 100% with you. And that's why I wanted to speak to someone that was not in my generation, because most people in my generation, they go back to that, or older generation, they'll go back to this is where, dodgeball got exited. This is where that coddling came in. This is where all that stuff came in. And that's where people from my generation would say. With that said, talking to someone maybe just a little bit younger may have been different. Yeah. But you sound like you had the same.
Yeah, I got an old soul, so I probably wasn't the right young folk for you. Sorry. And sorry for my ADHD taking us other places on this conversation.
You didn't. So we good. You good. Thank you again for being a part of this. And thank you for everything in the beginning that you spoke about. I really appreciated your candor and your ability to just simply, be open about what you're talking about. All right. Thank you so much. All right. I'll catch you next week. We got Stephanie coming in for that, for our counselor talk. She'll be with us once a month. There you go. She'll be with us once a month. So I'll catch you next time. I appreciate you guys spending time with me. Peace.